Recording. Okay, so we got a 2004 Jeep Grande Cherokee here, and the left side dropped down low about 3 inches. So the seat, which is welded to the axle for the coil spring, had rotted out. So I did some CAD drawing, and that's cardboard assisted drawing. That's not a CAD machine. So we took and we made some templates, okay? We took transfer the templates into steel, okay? And this is gonna wrap around and this is gonna encase the housing. You see this? This is some real world stuff. So cut it out with a Sawzall, a little grinding, and then we're gonna take this and we're gonna weld it onto the vehicle, and then we are going to install a new spring seat, okay? So let's get a look at what this looks like here. And I'll move you over. You got to excuse while I adjust this here. Well, there's my spring seat. You can see the whole top of it's gone. And you can see the sides of it are rotted out. So we're going to take this plate here. That's going to be our new top. We're going to take this one right here, which is cut okay, that's cut to fit around the axle, and then we'll heat it. We have some lines here, there, and there, and we will wrap this right around that seat. We'll roll this in, and then we'll weld this all back on. The shock support is great. The other side just needs a top cover. It doesn't need the front. But we need to make that stable. I don't want this thing to have a problem down the road. And then we will take this and we will line this up, okay? And that'll be our new spring seat. Our sway bar will mount here, okay? And our shock will still mount in the same place in the back. So I'm gonna get a grinder. I'm gonna grind down in here so I can tack this where I want it. And then once that's done, we'll start shaping this and putting it back together. A little light, maybe you can see that a little better. There you go. And then I'll have to check some editing on this because I don't know when I knocked you out of focus, but for that. Get the spring out of the way. All right. Got a little fire over here now. It's popping. I'm gonna have to clean that nozzle. Good and hot. Let's see if I dare touch that. All right. Are you still in focus? Oh yeah. Now we gotta watch because it's gonna be hot. It's gonna be getting hot. And I want to bring that up a little bit so you can see where that's going down. So I'm gonna see if we can do this without getting burned. Roll it up a little bit. There we go. Let's get a test fit. That's pretty close. All right. And then we'll bring this up a little more. Like that. Put that. Roll that in. A little bit. Okay, still with me. I'll put some. We're going to take a lunch break, and we'll get back after it. Bring All right, I'm back from lunch, and we're going to wrap this thing up. I'll get this box finished, and we'll have one of the guys put the rest of it together. They're very, very capable of doing that, so I just get stuck with the fabricating crap, you know. So, but anyway, so I've got to wrap that around and finish some welding, and that's pretty much it. I'm going to focus you guys in so you can watch. I'm going to have to get on the creeper and get underneath here. I didn't want to tie up a lift for this job. My lifts produce too much money to have me messing around with something like this, where who knows how long this is going to take. And you know, on a lift, I could be running brake jobs and, you know, timing belts and things like that, in and out. And you just don't want to, you know, at this point, tie it up. I do have two brand new lifts over here against the wall that I haven't installed yet, but maybe one day I'll install it in here. I kind of like the flat bay for doing diagnostics and stuff like that. And but you never know, you know. Anyway, let's get you focused in. Let's get the torch lit up and bend some metal and do some welding, and let's get this thing going. All right, I got you in focus there. All right. Now, we're going to take and cut this little section off right here, okay? Because our our shock mount, which is right there where the clamp is. You see the 2 holes? That's solid. We don't have to worry about that. So we'll go over to the bandsaw. Okay. Here's our bandsaw, and we're gonna up. It's a nice saw for cutting, fabricating. Works well. You can slide it back and forth. Makes for cutting easier, you know. On this recorder, I'm gonna have to charge it back up, but I'm gonna undercoat that and go from there. So yeah, so just remember, if you do any welding on anybody's frame, on any vehicle, if something happens, the fault of your welding, you could be held liable if somebody gets in a bad accident. So I suggest if you're going to do any kind of frame welding, any suspension weld or anything, make sure you do your due diligence to make sure that it's safe, and you don't have to worry about somebody, the frame breaking, or like you weld a tow hitch on somebody's car, and then the tow hitch breaks off while they're driving down the road, trailer lets go and somebody gets killed. They're going to come back. They're going to say, you welded it on. You're responsible. So when I take on certain jobs, I make sure that this is done. This is solid. This will last the life of this car. This will never come apart. I'm not worried about that. Okay? Again, if it was a restoration, we would cut that box out, fabricate or purchase a new one, et cetera, et cetera. But in this case, we just need this truck to sit level the way it's supposed to, and obviously we don't want the spring falling out. It's not going to fall out. So yeah, I'm going to close the video out now, but we'll hit you up. We'll see you next time. TMR out. Snap-on welder. Works pretty good. All right, so we're back here. This thing's all put together. Looks pretty good. Look at that. All right. We put some undercoating on there. Make sure it doesn't rot out again. I could have welded a little prettier, but you know, I did the job. So now we're gonna move on, see if he wants to do the brakes. Yeah, my guy noticed that he needed a grease job, so he took care of that when he was putting it together. And the other side, we just put a new perch on top. That's all pretty good.